Okay, so today is day 48 of my 75 hard challenge attempt 2. Date is 17 July 2023, and I'm going to start reading the 7 habits of highly effective people suggested to me by my Instagram friend Alex. So let's start. If I find anything worth highlighting, I would mention it in the video. Okay, so I read the first 3 pages and I find this book quite interesting. In the first 2 pages, pages 15 and 16, the author mentions few of the problems that the readers might have, some of which are very relatable to me. Um, the one is that this one, I've set and met my career goals and I'm having tremendous professional success, but it's cost me my personal and family life. I don't know my wife and children anymore. I'm not even sure I know myself and what's really important to me. I've had to ask myself, is it really worth it? So it's not literally like the same as this, but it's like when I study a lot for a few days, then I feel like I don't have a social life. I feel like if I just study, then I feel like my fitness is lacking. Or if for a few days I just focus on my fitness, then I feel my academics are lacking. And again, I feel my social life is lacking. And if I like focus on my social life, go out to meet that is a mosquito. Okay, so then I go out with my friends and all. Then both my academics and fitness starts lacking. So that's one point that is really my problem, so I'm looking forward how what solution it provides. Another is that this one is a kind of can be applied that uh, I expect a lot out of my employees and I work hard to be friendly toward them and treat them right, but I don't feel any loyalty from them. This is in case of my friends when let's say in a group project we are doing something. I really try to work hard and lead them, but I don't feel that there any interest from them. So let's see how the book solves that problem. Um Also, this there's so much to do and there's never enough time. I feel pressured and hassled all day, every day, 7 days a week. I've attended time management seminars and have tried half a dozen different planning systems. They have helped me some, but I still don't feel I'm living the happy, productive, peaceful life I want to live. Like in this 75 hard only, I uh, some days I'm very productive, some days I get the task done, I get the bare minimum done, but it's not as productive as I aspire to be. And some days I don't feel happy, some days I don't feel nice. So I'm looking forward to this too. And this one also, I'm busy, really busy when I do the when I'm very productive. On those days, I'm very busy, but sometimes I wonder if what I'm doing will make any difference in the long run. I'd really like to think there was meaning in my life, that somehow things were different because I was here. There are more of them, more of these problems. The others are not so relatable for me, but these which I mentioned are. So let's see how what the book says. Okay. Okay, so in the first pages, like from page 17, from page 16, 17, the author says that our perception about the world changes a lot about what we think the world is, which might sound really obvious, but if you think like this, is that we all have a lens through which we see the world, and everyone's lenses are different and we can modify our lens, and the way in which our lens are determines how we will process what we see. So same things might happen to me and to, let's say, another person. Same thing might be seen by both of us, but the thing that we take from that might be totally different depending on our lens. So we must be aware of that. It's a really obvious. It might sound really obvious, but you cannot uh, be uh, any different from others. So everyone will have a lens and you have to see through the lens, but what is important is that we are aware of it and we see that it does not harm us or our close ones in any way. So that's one thing we should take note of. And the author tells a story about his child, how they his child was not so average. Yeah, he was below average in like almost all categories. So they tried to cheer him up and tried to get him up to that level, but then they realized that their perception about their child was not right. They their perception was that the child was inadequate, the child was not socially average according to the social criteria. So in subconsciously they were subconsciously telling him that get adequate, become better, become the social acceptable level, but they were doing it without realizing it, which was harmful for the child and it did not help any, and the child was even deteriorating. But after the author started reading and studying for writing the book, probably, or what he said, for writing something for IBM, for some leadership material, he realized that perception is really important, and then he started realizing that what he perceived and started to change it, uh, and that really helped the child, means the author and his wives. Also, what author mentioned is that the self-help material from the recent 50 years, I mean not all the books but whatever is researched, is that most of them of the last recent 50 years is that the fixes are on the superficial level and they are quick fixes, and the problem always surfaces out again because the problems are not fixed at a deeper level, which is what the author says was the self-help material for the before the 50 years, for the first 150 years of the 200 years. And he says that those first materials said that you should fix your inner, whatever inner your perception or your inner self is, you should fix that, and that's how you would solve your problems. So it's quite like it. I couldn't sum up it in a nice concise manner, but that's what the gist of it, whatever that is. Okay, so I'm reading like from the next. Okay, in page 21 the author says that the elements of personality ethic, like personality growth, communication skill training, education in the field of influence strategies, and positive thinking, they are beneficial but they are secondary. Primary is your self building. Okay, so and another thing that the author tells that I like very much is in that in page 22 he says that you might be able to cram through school if you learn to manipulate the man-made rules, if you learn to play the game, because school is an artificial system. You can manipulate the rules and you can play the game, you can cram through it, you can waste your time for the first 6 months and then cram your way through the in the next 6 months. But he's saying that Human relationships are not like that. It's a natural system, like a farm. You can't waste all your spring of waste. Mm. Forgot to plant in the spring, play all summer, and then cram in the fall to begin the harvest. That's not how it works. In same ways, you cannot perform that with human relationships. You have to pay the price. You have to go through the work. You can't do a quick fix and expect good results. So that's what he says. Um, Another thing he says here, that in page 22, is that the what we are communicates far more eloquently than anything we say or we do. So I like to uh, intercept this as, we might not be very good at public speaking. We might not be very good at those superficial skills, the communication skills, although they are helping. But okay, let's say we are not good at those, but our character is very strong. I mean, not strong, but our character is, let's say, very trustworthy. So people will listen to us. People will attend to us. Let's say, for example, um, Elon Musk. Elon Musk, like, we all know who he is. Now, when he speaks, he stutters, which, according to the it's my alarm. Okay, so according to the communication skills, that part, it's not very elegant. But even though that, we listen to him, and that has now become a trait of him, which is like a thing he owns. Okay, that style of speaking is his own, and we don't see any flaw in it. It's like perfect because of his character, because of what he has done and what he is doing, the hard work he is putting in, the achievements he has made. We have built a type of trust in him, that we are uh, attending to what he says, we are listening to what he says, without the need of superficial manipulation of, like, being bold, speaking confident. Okay, so that those are all superficial according to the author. But I think that, okay, so if you are not speaking bold, if let's say I'm talking to a stranger who does not have any perception of me, and I'm speaking like, not in a very good way, which might be in a subconscious level uncomfortable, uneasy to talk to, uneasy to make a connection with them, and that might reflect on me as, like, I am having a little bit low confidence, or like, I'm really awkward to talk to. So that can reflect on me, and that can over time degrade me. But if I speak confidently, if I speak boldly, then people view me with respect. People would like to talk with me. People could hold a conversation with me properly, which would boost my self-esteem. So first, I'm pretending self-esteem, pretending confidence, but that is in fact increasing my confidence. So that's according to the author, and I would say yes, that is a quick fix. But yeah, that's that. So let's see what the next two pages are. In the last two pages of today, like page 23 and 24, the author says that, again, the same things. He says something about a paradig paradigm, or a mental map that we have in our mind, according a mental map of what we think that things are, and how things should be. We interpret everything we experience through these mental maps. We seldom question their accuracy. We're usually very unaware that we have them. We simply assume that way. We see things in the way they really are or what they should be. So we assume that according to our maps. And then he mentions an exercise which might not be very interesting. Okay, so first he tells us to look at this image, and then he tells us to look at this image. The author says that this might look like a very attractive woman of like age 25 or so, uh, and then he says to look carefully. That the author denies that, and author says that this is a woman of age 60s and 70s who is very old, who is definitely not attractive, and who you might have to help on the side of the road. And if you look more carefully, at first you might not notice it, but I can see it very clearly now because I have seen it. You might not see it, so let's see. The author tells us to look at this image and then compare it with this image. You see, this is an old woman with a big nose. This is her chin. And old. She looks very sad. So that's what he tells us. So what he tells us is that our perception, really matters, and our perception really changes how we look at things, and it can be very different. So that's for today. It's till today's. I read till page 24. I don't have a bookmark now. I will see if I have, then I'll put it. So that's that. Today's reading completed, 17th July. I'll see you tomorrow.